All right, so most men date like amateurs. They chase the wrong women, they waste a lot of time, and they just do a bunch of stuff that really doesn't work and is inefficient. But when it comes to high value guys, they operate in a way that is really weird for the average guy. And once you understand how they operate, you will never look at dating the same way again. So let's break down exactly how high value, high status men approach dating and what you need to start doing today to get results. So the average guy is really focused on chasing, right? He's the one who always has to put in the effort. He's the one who always has to go after the women and wasting a lot of time doing that. And that brings us to the second point, which is a lot of hours wasted on texting the wrong women, on being with girls who aren't even interested in you, being with girls who are flaking on you. And it's just many hours wasted. And what is really particular about the average guy's mindset is that he is genuinely focused on one woman, right? He doesn't understand the concept of having a rotation and having different women in his life. And so this guy is always in scarcity. Because he's focused on one woman only at the time, he is always afraid of losing her because he doesn't have any other women in his life. And so where the high value mindset is totally different is that the high value guy focuses on his own value first. And he understands the importance of crafting, designing his own life and really building a beautiful garden where nice little butterflies can jump into instead of having to chase after the butterflies. And he also never chases low interest women, right? So one key differentiator between the average guy and the high value guy is the average guy will just go after any woman. Even if she's not that interested in him, it's just like because he doesn't have that choice. But you want to avoid low interest women. And the high value mindset is also about having options, but not because he's a playboy, but because having options gives him clarity. Volume beats quality. The only way to know if what kind of woman actually is good for you and fits your lifestyle is to test out a lot and test out different women. Which brings us to your first action step, which is to stop chasing and start qualifying. So instead of always being in the frame of, I'm not sure if she likes me or is she going to like me, think of it this way. Am I going to like her? Does she fit my lifestyle? And so this is a totally different frame, which most men do not operate under. And so you have to change that frame every time you see a girl, every time you interact with a girl, every time you're on a date. You have to ask yourself, okay, is she good for me? All right, so the second step, and this is super important, is you don't want to waste time on the wrong women. And the average guy's strategy is to really talk to any woman showing the slightest attention or affection that he is getting from a woman he is talking to her. So this guy typically, if he gets a DM from a girl he's not even really interested in, because he doesn't have that abundance, he is going to give attention and time to that girl. And so the average guy really stays in relationships out of convenience because she is giving me good pussy, because it would be annoying to have to put in effort and find someone better. The average guy ignores red flags, right? He has the mindset of, I can fix her, and oh, that's not a problem if she had that many partners in the past, or it's not a problem if she likes going to clubs and drinking. He puts convenience above his own values, and he really doesn't consider the value she brings to his life. He's so focused on convenience and comfort that he totally forgets, hey, well, what is she actually bringing to the table? How is she making my life better? And this is where the high value approach is totally different. He has absolute clear standards from the start, which are non-negotiable, and he will be very clear on having those standards. He quickly filters out women. There's no fluff. The high value approach is actually about, hey, okay, you have your key non-negotiables, and then whenever you see that she is betraying those or she doesn't fit your standards, you're like, okay, next, boom. Now, I'm not saying like you need to have a list of 100 standards and she just does one thing slightly wrong, like immediately next to her. No, but it's about the mindset. You need to change your mindset from convenience to actually having standards and filtering out women. So if she's giving you drama, if she lacks ambition or she just doesn't value your time, you need to cut that shit out immediately. And last but not least, he understands that beauty is common. What is not common is beauty of character and actual personality traits. Because if you go to any major hub in the world, right now we're in Bali, I've been in Dubai last month, or you go to the US, to Switzerland, whatever it is, you will find beautiful women in every country. But finding someone with actual character, that is more difficult. Which brings us to the second action step, which is I want you to write down 5 non-negotiables in a woman. Again, those are things you can't negotiate with. If she does these things, she's out the window, she is next. And be really honest with yourself. Don't just write some bullshit. Be actually honest. What are 5 things you can't negotiate with? All right, and this brings us to step 3, which is you need to build an irresistible lifestyle. And the average guy's mindset is so focused on impressing women with money, status, or tricks that he totally forgets about creating an actual attractive lifestyle that women want to be part of, right? And this guy believes in tactics rather than actually becoming attractive. He lives an uninspiring life, but expects top-tier women to want him. And so if you live in your mom's basement and you really don't do anything fun or interesting, how do you expect top-tier women to want to be with you? It just baffles my mind how many guys are like, well, women nowadays. And it's like, your life is shit. Your life is boring. There's nothing exciting, inspiring, or fun about it. And so the high-value approach is about creating an attractive lifestyle, right? You have to be fun, exciting, be a social guy, high status. And if you do these things, you're just like 10xing your chances of having women want to be part of your life. And just think of it from a biological perspective. Women are always thinking in the future, okay, if I'm with this guy, is this going to benefit me in the long term? Because humans are selfish and so are women. So if you don't have a fun, interesting life, why would she want to stay with you? You got to work on your social skills and your personal brand and network. This is another topic. I can make a video about that. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video on personal branding and networking. But this is super key. You absolutely have to constantly be on the edge and work on these things. And last but not least, you want to become a man women compete for, right? Instead of you having to chase women and instead of having to always play the seller's game where you have to sell yourself. No, be the buyer. Be in that position where you're like, okay, I got everything in place. I'm that guy, and women will actually compete for you. And so how does that actually look like? What we want to do is build a fucking amazing life first. And it sounds cool, like, okay, thanks for the advice. But yeah, you got to build an amazing life. And I can't put this in this video because the video would be 5 hours long, but focus on your health, focus on your money, focus on your personal branding, focus on networking, focus on your social skills, focus on skills, focus on becoming the absolute best version of yourself, and women will want to be part of it. Now, step number 4 is about escalating with intent and never getting friend zoned. And if I tell people or random guys that I never get friend zoned and that I never actually got friend zoned, they don't believe me. They're like, what the hell? Like, everybody gets friend zoned. No, I don't. Because if you do things the right way and you have a system when it comes to talking to women and filtering for interest, if they're interested in you, then you're not going to get friend zoned. Because the last thing we want to do is waste a bunch of time on women who are not actually interested in us. And so the average guy, what he does is he's way too passive. He waits for the perfect moment to make a move. Oh, I'm not going to tell her now that I like her. I'm not going to approach that girl now. He always waits for some reason. He treats women like business associates. So it's this typical guy who thinks women and men have to be treated the same. Now, of course, every human deserves the same amount of dignity, respect, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But you want to treat women differently. You don't want to treat them like men, like business partners, like a hello, and be very formal and platonic, because that's just gonna get you ended up in the friend zone. And this is what we want to avoid. We don't want to waste weeks, months, or for some guys, even years with girls who are not interested in us. And so the high value mindset where it's different is you escalate with confidence from the start, right? You show intent from the beginning so that there's no ambiguity. And then, okay, she can like me, she cannot like me, that's on her. But you did what you had to do. You were responsible enough to show intent from the start. You were man enough. And so you lead the interaction instead of waiting for her to decide. Instead of her making the move, making a decision, and asking you for the Instagram, telling you where you are going next. No, you make the move. You're the man, you're the masculine pillar, and it's up to you to make that move. And so what is really difficult is turning a conversation that was initially friendly or platonic into an actual sexual man-to-woman one. What is much easier to do is showing intent from the beginning and being very honest, being very clear about your intentions. Hey, I actually like you. And you don't even have to go that far and give away all your power, but by sub-communicating through your nonverbal body language, you can tell her, hey, well, what is your name? Just by a certain tonality and eye contact, you can make her understand that this is not friendly. This is not the business associate relationship that you actually don't want. And so your actionable step here is to stop acting neutral around women you're attracted to. Have a penis. Be honest about it. Be unapologetically masculine. And the reason why I freaking love this word, this is actually one of my favorite words in the English language, is because unapologetically means you're not sorry. You will not apologize. And most guys are apologetic. They are sorry for being a man. They're sorry for having a penis. We don't want to do that. We don't want to play that game. Just show intent and be honest. Which brings us to the last step, which is you need to be completely outcome independent. Whatever happens, whether it's approaching a girl in the street, whether it's being on a date, and you're not sure if you're gonna go home with her, you can't be focused on the outcome. You just can't. And you can't let it affect you. And so the average guy's mindset is he overthinks everything. Oh, is she gonna like me? Is she gonna reject me? When he's on a date, he's thinking of, is she going to wanna come home with you? He gets emotionally attached way too soon, right? The first girl who gives him the slightest affection, he immediately grabs onto that and he just doesn't let go. He seeks validation. And the issue with seeking validation from women is you become insecure if things don't go your way. So if she doesn't give you what you want, whether that's affection, whether it's sex, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a phone number, you're getting emotional. And this is probably the most unattractive thing you can possibly do. Now, where the high value mindset is different is he understands the importance of abundance, and he understands that abundance will help him be less outcome dependent. What I mean by that is it's much easier to not give a fuck what happens if you have 10 girls waiting for you to have sex, which is not the average guy's experience. The high value mindset is also focusing on himself first. This goes hand in hand with what we've said before, but he's constantly increasing his value, and this just never stops. And so he knows that the fastest way to attract women is to genuinely not need them. Yeah, it's much easier to get sex when you don't actually need it. Shocker. Which brings us to our last action step, and this is super key. You want to shift your mindset from I hope she likes me to she's lucky to be with me and to have the chance to be with me. And so this is much easier to do when you are, first of all, a quality guy, which I hope you are if you're watching this video. If you're not a quality guy, then this channel is not for you. This is not for bums. This is for quality guys who are actually looking to predictably improve their dating life. And by the way, guys, if you are very serious about attracting high quality women consistently and predictably, I created an entire roadmap video for free, which is right here. I'm going to link it. So go watch that and let me know if you like these kinds of videos. If you like these amazing whiteboard videos in my villa here, I will do more of these. Let's fucking go.